let's get right into some questions for the finance guru, Dan Geltrude. I just read an article that the IRS reported that there are almost 6 million less tax filed this year compared to last year at the same time. Why would there be such a decrease, Dan?
Well, let's go with the obvious. How about procrastination? Why file your tax return now when you have more than a month left to do it? You know, it's why do something today if you can do it tomorrow? But I think there's been actually, King, a real trend in taxpayers filing later and later each year. So maybe you could say that we're becoming a nation that's more prone to wait or just doesn't want to deal with taxes because it's such a negative thing and we hear so much about it. So if you can put it off, you certainly do that. This year, actually, we have 3 extra days to file if you're going to file on time, meaning generally the April 15th deadline. This year, it's actually April 18th. And you know, last year, for example, the IRS received 12 million tax returns the week after April 15th, which means you had a heck of a lot of people that were trying to make that deadline of midnight on April 15th to make sure that it got stamped, or if they're filing electronically, that you were pressing that button right at the last minute to file those tax returns. But on the other side of this, when you really get serious about why are people waiting, let's go with another obvious besides, well, people want to procrastinate. How about this one? Let's blame Donald Trump. And we can go down that road by saying maybe there's some misunderstandings about this massive tax cut that's on the way. So you have people that are saying, well, the president is going to give us all a tax cut, so let's hold off on filing until we get that. Well, obviously, that's not going to happen. 2016 is over with. We don't even know if the proposed tax cuts will get in for 2017, but there could be some real misunderstandings. Along those lines related to Trump, you know, there's a lot of undocumented workers that do file tax returns. And based on the environment we have right now, maybe they're really afraid to file because they don't want to leave a paper trail. So we may have a situation where there have been people that are undocumented that had been filing in the past, but with some of the environment that President Trump has created about illegals in the United States, they're turning around and saying, well, I'm not going to file any tax return this year because I don't want them to find me. The other part, too, is the IRS had announced that they were going to be delaying refunds this year, specifically related to what's called the PATH Act, which was passed by Congress. And what that is it requires increased scrutiny on certain tax credits for low-income households, rather. So if you have an earned income tax credit on your tax return or additional child care credit, you were going to get a delayed refund. And that also may be something that is triggering people to file their tax returns perhaps a little bit later this year. Last year, 27 million tax returns had claimed the earned income credit. And I think finally there's just some general confusion. There's a lot of information out there, and there's a lot of misinformation. So I think that uncertainty with the population just makes people hesitate on doing things. And I think related to that, that's why we may be seeing some delays this year compared to last year in filing tax returns. But keep in mind, April 18th, that's the due date this year, unless you file an extension. So no matter how you slice it, that's when your tax return is due, of course, unless you file for a 6-month extension, which would put you out to October 16th this year.